everybody. Live from Denver. It's Friday night. Are we good? Are we live? Are we...
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, looks like we got sound. Looks like we got audio, picture, all that. Welcome to another edition of Critical Conversations. I am joined by my beautiful wife, Melissa Huff.
Hello, hello, hello.
And we are here on this Friday, March 12th. We're all good. Okay, great, everybody. Welcome to the show. Wow, what a week. And what a weekend we're about to have.
Yeah.
We're here in Denver, Colorado, as all of you, I think, know. And hey, Steve. Hey, everybody. Awesome to see all the usual suspects here. Henny, Xenu, etc. Okay, so let's see. We got some things to talk about tonight. And of course, this is the call-in show. So the call-in line, 984-214-4154. Feel free to call in and ask us or talk to us about whatever you would like. This week we are theming our show around eating animals, or at least using that as a starting place. But we've also got some other things to talk about. For example, tomorrow is L. Ron Hubbard's birthday. And if he were alive, I believe it would be, let's see, he was born 1911. And so that would be 110 years old. I just don't trust myself with math anymore, if in case you're wondering about such simple calculations. So yes, L. Ron Hubbard was born 110 years ago tomorrow, March 13th. And boy, that is just a date that's kind of burned into my mind forever. L. Ron Hubbard's birthday. And yes, I know, the 7 cam is coming. But I have to comment on these things. And because exciting news is that I am not going to be part of this because I am just way too swamped and could not even begin to think about doing this. But there are Cult City tours happening in Clearwater, Florida tomorrow with a spectacular celebrity lineup of names and faces you know who will be giving tours personally around the downtown Clearwater area and the various Scientology buildings there, and good on them for doing that and for getting the word out there about that and letting people know what really goes on behind the closed doors of Scientology. Thank you, Teresa, for that super chat. Absolutely awesome. And now let us check in with our favorite fur ball. Yes, our little fur ball of love. There is Seven, the Wonder Cat. And he is ensconced in the living room there. You can see we've got some things still out and about, jeans, bags,
it's
etc.
like the giveaway, throwaway pile.
Yeah, it's a little bit of it's still fun here. But there he is chilling, and that is right below our TV, by the way, in the living room. So he just likes to hang out down there, and there he is. So that's our first check-in with Seven this evening. There will be more. Yeah, he's exactly looking casual in jeans. Exactly. Our little Seven. It is amazing. We were commenting just before the show on the fact that we have moved apartments. We have changed, we boxed everything up, moved everything over here. Bring Seven over. And what's it been? 2.5 weeks?
Something,
so
3
weeks maybe that we've been in here. And cat hair is everywhere. It's like sand on Arrakis, if you know that reference to Dune. It's like everywhere. You cannot get away from Seven hair. It actually gets on the mic pads here, which is, I think, hilarious. Anyway, so our little bundle of furry love. But we do love him. I complain about him, but only because I love him so much. He's just such a cute little critter.
He is.
And he's pretty settled.
He is the fuzziest.
Yeah, and he's settling in pretty well here.
Yeah,
he's still nervous.
He's doing pretty good, though.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
Yeah.
Doing all right.
Figuring it out and exploring.
Kind of the same pace we are.
Yeah,
it's always
yeah.
funny when you move into a new place. It's not really yours yet, and then you got to kind of make it yours. You start putting up pictures and figuring things out and buying new stuff and because you got a new place and the old stuff doesn't quite
Always
fit
work,
where
yeah.
it should, Yeah, exactly. So, all right. We moved simply and only because our lease was up, and we didn't want to have another price hike because we had already been at that place for a number of years, and the rates go up every year, and so you're just paying more and more and more. And so we ended up actually finding another place here that's about the same, but we like the distribution of the square footage better.
Yeah.
So rather than stay where we were, and there were also a couple problems with management. We will just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And crime.
it was really one of those really stupid situations where the lead property manager was actually pretty cool, and I could relate with her, and we had a perfectly decent relationship, but she would disappear for periods of time, I guess, to go take care of other properties, and so the people who were left in charge were not anywhere near as competent and collected as she was, and so we had issues. So that's what happened there. Oh yes, Maverick, you mentioned the South Park. I did not watch South Park on Wednesday. I actually completely spaced on it because of my uni stuff. Sorry about that.
Maybe we'll have to find it tonight.
Yeah, for sure, because it was hardcore South Park. They completely ridiculed QAnon and ripped it to shreds. Awesome. Nice. We will definitely be watching that. We'll probably.
I'm sure they did it justice.
Yeah, we'll check it out tonight, I'm sure. Kaiser Yeager, the cat who owns our family. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Blink if you need help. Awesome. Okay, we will definitely be checking that out. Yeah, exactly. And they charge for all the utilities, etc. Okay, so let's go ahead. We have a call in the queue. All right, Kevin, big news. All right, here we go. Hello.
Hey, Melissa. Hey, Chris. How are you?
Hey, we are good. How are you, Kevin?
Oh, not too bad. I just wanted to call in about the theme of the show.
Yeah.
you know, that's that's just something where, my opinion is pretty much you do you, I'll do me. As long as you're not, as long as you're not being militant about your views. I mean, I can understand there's an ethical side to it, and there's definitely a health side to it.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as veganism and vegetarianism, but there's also a lot of pseudoscience that goes around in those circles for sure.
Exactly. So, well, this is a great time to bring it up. I think I'm going to actually turn the mic over to Mel because you have some experience with vegetarianism.
Yeah, I was a vegetarian for about 3 years.
Yeah. And I thought she was, a great example of that because she was pretty chill about it. Mm-hmm. You didn't. Yeah,
I didn't judge people or go give them the spiel about why they shouldn't eat meat or anything like that because I'm not going to change anybody's mind. So.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And are you vegan or vegetarian, Kevin? Or are you a meat eater?
I am. I'm sort of vegetarian, I guess. I do 1 or 2 days a week just to try to get myself back into shape, but not really for the most part. I still eat meat, so
yeah.
I work for a turkey processor, so I got to keep myself employed.
There you go.
Yeah,
nice.
So if you're gonna eat meat, eat turkey.
I've got this gigantic turkey drumstick in the fridge right now, and I think I will be taking your advice.
All right, well, go eat it right now.
All right. Well, thank you.
No,
Kevin.
and it's like I said, I have no problem with it, but it's just that when you get in deep into those groups, you know how it goes. They get no one goes and asks advice of people that know what they're talking about, like their doctor or anything. They just find whoever sounds the best and whoever selling the most expensive, non-proven thing and go with that, and then tell other people to do the same thing.
Exactly. Doesn't it drive you nuts?
So, it does. It does. Absolutely.
Yeah,
well,
me too.
They always go to Facebook for people in those circles always go to Facebook for health advice. Schedule a telemed visit with your doctor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They know you.
Or a nutritionist, or a
something, or a dietitian.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
It is amazing.
For sure, because not all diets. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it is
quite.
We're talking over each other. Kevin,
go
ahead and talk.
All right, we'll do that. I think I was going to say that not all diets are right for everybody.
Right.
That's right.
There's certain people have conditions where they actually need to eat meat, like for low iron levels and that kind of thing, and so you can't really, as a vegan, you can't really get down on people for that. They may actually want to be vegan, but they can't for health reasons.
That's right.
So
that's right.
I mean, it's probably not a lot of people, but there are. There's not everything is right for everybody when it comes to health and diet.
You got it. And just like, yeah, that's right. I'll just leave it at that. I think I think you're exactly right. And depending on where you grew up, depending on what your body's used to, there's tolerances, there's intolerances, plus bodies change over time. I sure as hell can't eat what I used to.
No, yeah. I can't drink what I used to.
Right.
I can't drink like I used to.
I can't even really drink hardly at all anymore. And I got to tell you, I am not happy about that. I am not happy about that. Yeah. But that's what happens. You get older and the insides start changing on you.
Yeah, you can't drink that alcohol straight too much.
Yeah. No.
So this, and I think we're really speaking to the fact of why it's silly to try to judge other people about this, or at least, without finding out more, at least getting in communication, going, hey, what's up? And we don't see a whole lot of that out of certain extreme brands of, vegetarian or vegan
keto type vegetarians.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for calling in with that, Kevin.
Absolutely.
All right,
you guys have fun and eat as much turkey as you can.
I will do, man. Thanks.
All right. See ya.
All right. Yeah. Was gonna say, and I do have a couple things. Okay. Sorry about that, Teresa. Yeah. Hey, Sweden. Wow. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Lactose intolerance comes in. There's so much stuff. And yeah, I'm sure there are misconceptions about vegetarian diets, vegan diets. I don't eat anything with a face. These kind of things.
Yeah. Some vegans won't even eat honey. So.
Yeah, that's right. Which I am blown away by because I can't think of a more organic, natural food than honey.
Bees are slaves.
Exactly. And let's just face it, meat is delicious. And on that note, I'm a meatosaurus. I've always been, always will be. I can't not eat meat. However, I will say that I'm not, so wedded to the concept of it that I wouldn't consider eating cultured meat or this sort of artificial stuff that they're producing, or at least artificially created. I don't mean it's artificial meat. Apparently it's grown, in the lab or something. And with that, we can make, burgers and other meaty things or steaks or whatever. I guess they're working on this stuff if it's not all developed already. And
so we are going to turn into Star Trek and just be able to be like, boop, and a steak appears.
Yeah. I hope so. Solve a lot of problems. Precognition. Yeah, that's a good comment there. Yeah, so anyway, I was going to comment on the fact that for me, it's always been meat. But but when Melissa and I met, I mean, it was when we met.
Yeah, I was still vegetarian then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and did I didn't. I mean, I have an idea of how I am, but did you think I came across? That was your big opportunity. Did I come across respectfully?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you weren't a jerk about it or anything.
Okay, cool. Because I thought it was cool that you were doing that. It was it does make shopping and that sort of thing a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, it does change things.
Yeah, but I guess I kind of subtly worked on you a little bit because
maybe
I
just kind of. I don't know. I just kind of like was sort of sneaking meat here and there. And I was craving it so bad and everything. And I just was like, I don't know why I'm craving it so much, but I am. So it was no big like change of heart or surprise or weird situation or anything. It was just started really craving it and wanting it again.
Yeah. And I won't. Okay, good. So I don't have to fess up to being the causative element there, but I will say I certainly didn't discourage her in any way.
That's true.
I was more than happy to order 2 steaks instead of 1 and that kind of thing when we were going out. So, yeah. Yeah, there's allergies and stuff too, as people are commenting here. You know, I know that there are folks who are very, very, very adamant about this. Yes. Really, really strong on, good, got a call in the queue there. We will get to you in just a moment. And I know, and people have asked me, and I'm just going to comment on this real briefly, just pop right in and out of this one maybe, unless it's called for, we talk about this more. But I don't look at veganism as a whole entity or, you know, even the more extreme aspects of it as a cult, like as a unified, because it's not really a unified body. It's so many disparate individuals with their own kind of morality. And there might be, and I haven't dived into it enough to say, you know, there's probably celebrity authors and celebrity pseudoscientists and, you know, my favorite go-to vitamin guy and all that kind of stuff in those communities. So I would liken those kind of groups or those sort of things more to the model that we might find on the internet, you know, kind of a leaderless. It's like atheism. It's got celebrities, but it doesn't really have leaders.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there's nobody leading the atheist movement. Believe me, there isn't. But there are some celebrities in the atheist movement. And I sort of look at veganism as the same way based on the knowledge I have. If I'm off on that, I'm more than happy to learn more about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Annie here.
All right.
Okay, we got a call here. What? Hello.
Hi, it's me,
Henny.
Hi, Melissa. Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Good
how are
evening.
You?
I'm well, thank you. And I'm glad to be speaking with you this evening and putting in my 2 cents as always.
Yes.
Yes, it's so nice to hear about you guys meeting and having a date and what you're eating. It's so wonderful, I have to say. Well, it really is.
Yes.
No, really. Go ahead, Chris.
It was fun. It was just, yeah.
That's nice. Now, listen, on the topic, okay?
Yep.
I'll stick to the topic at first. I always thought of it this way. I was grateful and thankful for the food I ate, and I always had just a feeling that as I consumed something, so should I be consumed. That was just my thought on anything that I ate. And I was grateful and thankful, okay? And like you said, getting older, your body changes, and you go through different things. And my body has done the same thing. So I can no longer eat what I used to eat.
Yeah.
Okay? But with that, here's the way I look at it. I'll eat what I can. I'll always feel the same way. And I think that if we all come to an agreement that moderation is the key to life.
That's what
It really
that's
is.
where I'm coming from. Yep.
With everything.
Yep.
With everything. If we said, okay, we're going to eat meat, and we're not going to do it 7 days, we're going to do it 4 days a week or 5 days a week. Everyone's little contribution to changes life.
That's right.
And it changes animals' life, their extinction. It changes mass production of animals. You understand? Balance starts to come back.
Exactly.
Everybody's little bit of sacrifice. Because I would never say to somebody, don't eat that. I would eat it. All I'm saying is, do you dig where I'm coming from?
Absolutely.
It's just like how are we going to change the planet? How are we going to make the planet better? If everybody sacrificed one thing just for one day, it makes a difference. And it has to start somewhere.
That's right. I agree.
So,
Yep.
you know, food for thought, no pun intended. I love you guys. Okay, and on that, I wanted to add, because it is open mic, and I'm going to just take my minute because I miss you guys. And I just wanted to say, talk about the idiocy of the Dr. Seuss and the Mr. Potato Head. Okay?
Please. Yes.
Oh, it's such a diversion of stupidity. Okay, it really is, in my opinion.
Yep.
Such a diversion of stupidity. But I really take offense with Mr. Potato Head. You hear?
Yeah, I bet.
And I wrote during the week that he did not come with a penis. No penis was, part of the parts. You had the eyes and the ears. And I know plenty of women who have mustache. Okay? So as far as I know you're laughing, Melissa, because you know we are women. Hear us roar without mustache, okay? All right? All right. So as far as I'm concerned, this is just a diversion, and a silly one, I have to say.
I agree.
But I was just, so irked, because I have a Mr. Potato Head for my granddaughter. And I told her, because she loves the line that he says, you are a liar. And I say, Mr. Potato Head comes from Brooklyn. Because he sounds like he does. So she looks at me and she says, you are a liar. So that's it. That's like our little thing, But that's what I wanted to leave on a lighter note of stupidity.
Thank you.
And you're a doll. And I'm going to listen to the rest of the show as well. And I'm looking forward to hearing everybody else.
Awesome. Thanks,
and
Annie.
you. All right. You rock.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right, Annie. Cool. Yeah, going into a little bit of the genetically modified foods in the comments here. I was kind of curious. What's your...
I used to be against them, but I don't know, kind of mixed feelings about them now. It's like, I think they contribute to the mass amount of food we have now to feed people with. But, I do agree that we don't always know exactly what we're doing when we're messing around with nature either. So there could be consequences,
Exactly. I'm for it in principle, but in practice, I am critical. Right? And I think I'm like that with a lot of things. I think we should all kind of. It's an attitude I hope others would cultivate as well. Is there's nothing wrong with having a goal of working out or figuring out how to better produce, distribute food. But there are going to be mistakes made along the way. There are going to be problems. There's going to be issues, and of course, we're dealing with, corporations. Mega corporations, right? That and it's funny. I was commenting, I think, on Twitter before the show today about different topic, but similar concept of, we kind of skip the Big Brother and went straight to the cyberpunk mega corporations in our society.
Yeah.
You know, we all are thinking, Big Brother, oh my God, government, big government, oh, he's watching us all the time. It's, you know, and no, you know, when social media first came out, we were all like, oh, the NSA is monitoring our calls, monitoring social media activity. And we kind of skipped right over the idea, wait a minute, what are the social media platforms doing?
What are they doing? Yeah.
What are they themselves doing? And they escaped, you know, sort of general public scrutiny for a very long time because we were all so hepped up on Big Brother. And I think it's starting to dawn on people now with Social Dilemma, as you know, documentary and other work on this, that no, it's not the Big Brother of the government that we should really be as concerned about as what these mega corporations and, you know, and of course this includes big tech, but it's not just big tech. You know, it's big pharma, it's big tobacco, big alcohol, big media. You know, there's a lot of these things. Media is huge. I mean, there's big conglomerates of mega corporations there. You know,
there's like what, 7 to 10 companies that really technically own all the media or something like that.
That's what the conspiracy graphs show.
Yeah.
The charts and things. I used to have those things.
Yeah, because it's like,
Disney
well, they all just own each other.
Right. And these guys own all of this. And you can do that. If you do that with an eye toward or an attitude of, oh, well, there's one guy at the top.
Yeah, there isn't that necessarily, but yeah.
Yeah, who's directing everything down to the individual headlines on the individual newspapers that they own.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that there's reporters that get fired and get phone calls and threats from the big guy in charge just because they put out an article that was against a company that's in their umbrella or something, but... Yeah, I don't think the guy at the top knows every detail of everything. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. 1, they're not interested enough. 2, they're not energetic enough. And 3, you can't. There's too much. I mean, when you're dealing with, as the owner of, you know, a conglomeration, you know, pyramid of something of like 50 corporations and, you know, 30 different news channels, the amount of influence you're going to have, it could be your editorial slant or your ideas could go down the line for sure, but they're only going to roll out in the most general of ways, you know, unless you're going to take an active interest, I suppose.
What was that creepy thing though a few years ago where that was like they found out all those news stations were doing the exact same? Yeah,
Sinclair. That's what I was actually about to mention that. That's right. What that was Sinclair Broadcasting, right?
I think so. And they found out all these different news stations had like word for word done the exact same story.
Exactly. The local news anchors were given opinion pieces to read out, and they didn't identify where it came from. So it looked like and sounded like it was an opinion piece from the local station, when in fact it was dictated by their corporate overlords. And this was exposed. I think this was pre-COVID, wasn't it? It was about a year and a half ago or something when that happened.
Oh, yeah. It was a few years ago.
Yeah. But it was a big deal, you know, and it kind of exposed some of that. Okay. Now I will again throw out there 984-214-4154 is our call-in line, and we should check back in. Oh, there he is still.
Aw.
7 cam.
Now he's falling asleep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what he's good at.
He's very good at that. I'm kind of getting better at that too.
I've always been pretty good at that.
Yeah. Like owner, like master sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah. There he is, just chilling. So, you know what I would have a really, really... let's go to a dark place for a moment.
Oh, boy.
You know what I would have a really hard time doing? And I won't say anything specifically. I won't name names because I've had pets over the years too. And I don't think I could ever eat one of my pets.
Nope.
I just don't think I could do that. And that's interesting, isn't it? not just because of the kind of animals they are. I mean, I literally think I would gag at the idea of eating the meat.
Just knowing
You know?
that was your pet.
Mm-mm.
It trusted you.
Mm-mm. Yeah, what about the fifth dynamic? That's right. Oh, good question. Is using the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics principle always best, or does that usually result in justifications for doing bad things to smaller groups or individuals? Well, it certainly can. But the problem with greatest good for greatest number is the answer to the equation always comes out different depending on the point of view of the observer. Mm-hmm. Right? The greatest good, as far as I'm concerned, is very, very different from what the greatest good would be as far as David Miscavige is concerned. Or, alternately, I mean, just to throw this out there, my idea of what the greatest good might be is probably different in some ways from what Henny thinks the greatest good for the greatest number would be on any individual decision. So in other words, I'm talking about moral relativism here, and how that enters into the picture. I'm not an ethicist, so I haven't, given lots and lots and lots of thought to this stuff. But yeah, I think that is a problem with the utilitarian view. Is it's fine as a concept, but in practice, it usually comes out that our biases, our backgrounds, our proclivities, feed what direction that greatest good is going to go in. There's no real objective standard for that. Because what's good is based wholly on our value set, our individual value set, and we all have pretty interestingly different value sets, Yeah. All right, cool. Fido for supper. I would not eat my cat, though. Good. Yeah, take that compassion for your pets to other animals. Well, and I understand that concept, but again, practically speaking, it doesn't really work that way. Relationships are a series of concentric circles. I mean, the spheres of influence of our life can be graphically demonstrated that way quite easily, because not everybody is equal to everybody else in value or importance to any individual human being. Right. There simply couldn't be. You're always going to have, as a human being, closer and greater degrees of connection with people. And there's a line in the sand. There's a point where you're going to say, okay, these people or these connections or these relationships are the ones that I value significantly more than the ones beyond that. And that's the way we have to categorize ourselves in life, because there's just way too many damn people to think that you can be friends with 8 billion people or something. It just doesn't work out practically that way. But I do understand the point of, the theory of, okay, well, let's extend this idea of compassion and rights and the right to live to all animals. The only problem is we have a food chain and an ecological system on this planet that operates the way it does. And we haven't really risen above that yet. So I do have a biological argument for eating animals, and I know not everybody's going to agree with me about that argument, but it is, it makes sense to me.
Well, yeah, like when I was a vegetarian, it wasn't because I thought nobody should eat animals. It was more, I didn't like the way the animals were being treated that we were eating. So that's kind of where I always came from on that. Is just we should treat the animals we're eating better, but let's not fool ourselves. We're meat eaters,
Well, that's the thing, exactly. And we have nutritional needs and all that. And I'll tell you guys something about me that you may or may not choose to believe. I don't, whatever, but it's true that from my youngest years, and I mean like young, like 3, 4 years old, I was gagging on vegetables every single time they were fed to me. Could have been a quality issue in some degree. The only time I have ever had pure vegetables and I really enjoyed it. Like it was amazing. I actually wanted more. The only time in my entire life that that's happened was on my 16th birthday when my parents took me to a 5-star restaurant for my 16th birthday dinner. And I had one of the best meals I've ever eaten in my whole life. It was a 5-star restaurant. I don't go to 5-star restaurants, ever. And what a meal that was. And they served these veggies with the sauce, and it was cooked and all this stuff, and I just couldn't shut up about it. So anyway, yeah. So, that was my take on that. So I haven't really been able to eat vegetables to any real degree. I mean, corn, but corn's mostly starch, but I think it's a veggie. I eat corn. I love corn. I've tried almost every vegetable there is. I can't think of too many that I haven't put in my mouth at least once. And they come right back out again to be disgusting. So I have a problem eating veggies. If somebody tried to raise me on a vegetarian diet, it would have been very difficult.
Yeah.
And I think at this point in my life, damn near impossible. Do try to eat well. Do try to, mostly through reducing sugar content in a significant way. But yeah, corn never stays inside. Yes. In making an ethical and moral decision, ex-Scientologist asks about something, wouldn't it be essential to gather all the true facts first? Yes, of course. Absolutely. Now, all the problem I've seen and encountered, even all the way back in Scientology, Hubbard commented on this stuff. I think he wrote a couple bulletins about diet, and he was kind of an Adele Davis guy. He would promote Adele Davis, who I think has been debunked as a dietitian or clinician. She was like a nutritionist or dietitian, like food person back in like the 50s or 60s or something. Anyway, she wrote books about let's eat right to get fit and stuff like that. And so she had some dietary principles, which I believe have changed and been, improved upon over the years. But I gotta tell you, man, it is really hard to dive into this topic. Every time I've gone anywhere near it, I just dive right back out again because there's so many authorities, so many people saying they know what's what. I got the diet. I liked what Alex wrote earlier about the keto. I didn't really understand keto as that, so that's interesting. And he says it's a real fast way to lose weight, mostly meat and vegetables. I think I could do some veggies if it was in combination with some things, and if it was really well cooked, which should be up to me at this point. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, Del Davis, long time ago. That's right. I remember things out of Scientology like eat breakfast like a king and dinner like a pauper, like these kind of little mantras and sayings, know. Ironically, the diet we were served was kind of exactly the opposite. Dinner was the big meal and breakfast was hardly anything except runny eggs. So, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because I wanted to say that the idea that we can all just easily switch right over and our bodies would just take in a vegan diet, it's just very unrealistic. It just doesn't really work that way. I just know I couldn't do that. Not live a life I would enjoy living. I can put it that way.
Well, I just could never be full vegan because I can't give up cheese.
Yeah, that would definitely be true for both of us. All right, well, I guess we've got a little fight going on in the comments section here, some name calling and stuff. It's,
I've been seeing some stuff.
It's okay to, not hate each other over this topic. I get that there are varying opinions on this.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. But,
look, nobody's saying Monsanto is a great company. I mean, just look at their name. Monsanto. I mean, they sound evil, right? But
yeah,
that doesn't mean that all GMOs are bad because Monsanto's bad.
Yeah. I mean, I am not trying to police my comment section here, guys, but I do encourage rational discourse without the insults if we can. That'd be awesome. That's a request on my part. Alex types in here, as long as you avoid carbohydrates, you have to look up where they are and how much. If you stay under 20 grams a day, you will lose weight. Good to know, Alex. I will check into that. I'm really bad on the counting of everything. You're a lot better at that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Okay, now there was a question from Xion there about how did Scientology affect your ethics and morality? How didn't it? Every aspect of what I thought of as in terms of right and wrong, good and bad, what was acceptable and what wasn't, what's good behavior, bad behavior, what's what kind of goals should we have in terms of a society that would be a thing we should be moving toward. I mean, this is all part of ethics, and I was all in on Hubbard's views on that. I read and did the Introduction to Scientology Ethics course when I was 16. And so that was the first ever real education that was ever given to me on the topic of ethics and morality. Hubbard defines ethics, morals, what is acceptable way to live, what's an attitude you should have in approaching life. Greatest good for greatest number. He asserted that constantly. Greatest good, actually, the way he put it was greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics. Those concentric circles of influence we all have, right? Those are called in Scientology the dynamics. That's not a principle I hold on to, even though the concentric circles thing I commented on today. Anyway, I think Scientology hit every part of my ethics, and it took years here, going through the process to re-examine all those things and decide, what's good and bad and right and wrong. And it's interesting how now I have, I haven't really commented on this before, but it's worth commenting on here, that, some stuff Hubbard said was absolutely true about things. There were some observations he had to make about certain aspects of government, certain aspects of health, certain aspects of psychology and psychiatry that were absolutely valid criticisms. That being said, it's about this much compared to all of this crap. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I'm not praising Hubbard here. I'm just saying that in reevaluating my ethics and morals, since you asked, I had to kind of reappraise and reevaluate some of that stuff. And some of what Hubbard said was kind of like, oh yeah, that's kind of sensible. For example, he would comment on, the word he used was reasonableness, but he would comment on the fact that, in general, people can tend to be, they don't want to rock the boat, they don't necessarily want to jump in where, and dive into things and correct matters and confront bad guys and stuff like that, little things, but interesting. Yes, that's kind of sucky. Oh, interesting question from Christine Olsen there. How do you do that? And Melissa, how do you help him throw the crap away? How do you help me throw the crap away?
Like the emotional crap?
Yeah.
How do I help you? I guess I'm just there for you. I listen to you. I try to talk to you and give you suggestions and just be there for you, I guess.
Yeah, kind of like that. Some of these
help
things.
You out when you're having trouble.
Yeah, exactly. As far as how that, yeah. As far as the process goes, it sometimes is an analytical process, and sometimes it's an emotional process, and sometimes it's a very emotional process. There have been tears and a great deal of, emotion connected with getting rid of or releasing or letting go of some ideas or some beliefs or, kind of reevaluating certain positions. Excuse me. Other times it's just more, like kind of the same way I deal with information of any kind. Somebody, Well, this might sound a little funny, actually, but for example, okay, that's just because this is the most recent example I can think of, and it's silly and stupid, and I don't think it's going to be, anything amazing to anybody, but I had the idea from having read certain things that women's cycles sync.
Mm-hmm.
When they are together, right? This is a psychological principle. It's written about. I read it as though it were true. That's what it was presented as though this is a thing. I believed it, and I brought it up to another person that I know who pointed out to me that it was a myth. And I went, no, it's not. I read this, and she goes, no. It's a total myth. It's actually not true. Here's and check it out. And I went to find that there's a Wikipedia page on it. There's sources cited, and more recent studies show that it's total horseshit and that that's not actually what happens at all. And it's a myth. It really is. So as soon as I learned that, I stopped thinking that way. I just went, oh, I was wrong. Okay. Boom, right? And I just dumped it. Easy peasy, right? I only comment on this as maybe something of note or something. I mean, it's really no big deal, just changing your mind, right? But apparently, some people have a real hard time doing this. So that's the process, as you learn, oh, the data I had was wrong. Well, I want to believe true things. I'm a total Dillahunty follower that way. So dump it. And then I just don't really think that way anymore, right? So I don't know, kind of like that. To me, it sounds a little silly. It probably does to you too, guys. So, but that is what I can say about that. All right, Travis is calling in, and I am noticing his call now, so let's pick him up. Hello.
Howdy. Good to talk to you, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for your patience there. Sorry I didn't notice you were on the line for a minute.
Not a big deal. You've got important stuff to talk about. Hey, listen, I've got two questions for you.
Yeah.
I've got the first one is, have you ever heard of the Art of Communication video in Scientology?
Yes, the film.
Yeah. Now, have you? I don't remember you talking about that on the air. If you have, forgive me for asking about it, but can you give a little brief synopsis?
If I'm remembering this tech film right, it is where a chaplain comes in and is put on post and has to learn how to recover people to Scientology and proceeds to learn about how to listen and understand when people are complaining to him about Scientology, and then get them back into the org, and somehow through this and he's having a really hard time doing his job, so he goes and he does the communications course in the org, and that's what teaches him how to do his job, and then he is recovering people left, right, and center. Is that how you recall it?
Oh, I was never in.
Oh, you never saw it? Okay,
kinda,
That's the film.
Yeah. So I remember one of the things that you had mentioned that got you recruited into Scientology was the communications course.
Yes.
And then I had read about the Art of Communication film, and I didn't know if those two things were tied together. They seem to be separate, but...
No, the Art of Communication film is a training film. Okay, you might be interested in this, and I've not really broken this down as such. So in Scientology, you have two kinds of films that are made internally, in-house, to train Scientology counselors or auditors. Half of the films have to do with communication, and half of the films have to do with how to run an e-meter. So the visual and the audio-visual presentation of a film is a lot better than just reading words on a page or seeing some diagrams. And so it shows you how to do these things. And so the Art of Communication film was supposed to be basically a, hey, we have this success through communications class. It's very powerful. The drills in it are very useful. And by doing it, you can actually change lives. And that's the message of that film. So that's how it relates to the communications class. And the communications class I took was actually a more advanced class than that Success Through Communications course. So anyway, so that's what I can tell you about that.
All right. So, look, thank you for explaining that. And I've got one last question, and this is sort of a silly hypothetical, okay?
Yeah.
Really dumb. Okay, so check this out. You said that there's a phrase that Scientology is looking for called the clear cognition, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like a specific, like very definitive sentence that somebody has to say, right?
Yeah, it's an idea that they have to communicate. It's not a word-for-word thing, but it is a concept that has to be communicated.
Hey, so how soon can I say that in Scientology at the local org, just walking in off the street and get taken seriously? That's my what-if question there.
Okay, good. The what-if question is a good question, and in order to be taken seriously, you would have to receive a lot of auditing. If you went in and just said that in your first session, they probably would have a little bit of a hard time believing it. They do know about the internet, and they do know this stuff is out there, right? And they're super paranoid about it. So technically speaking, you would need to say something like that in a Dianetic session, which means not a regular Dianetic session, an advanced Dianetic session. So it would probably be after at least 150 hours of auditing.
How much that cost?
Oh, gee, for all that, 20, 30, well, let's see, what is that? That's 5, 10, yeah, about $75,000.
Wow.
Yeah, I think about that.
Or you can just call into the Chris Shelton Critical Q&A show, and he'll tell it to you free.
Exactly. Exactly. And by the way,
You just find it online somewhere.
yeah, that's right. And the word cognition in Scientology, for you viewers out there who have no idea what we're talking about, cognition in Scientology doesn't just mean thinking. It means a realization that you've had. Like, oh my God, I didn't see that before, but now I suddenly realized it.
Isn't that just the same thing as an epiphany?
It's very much like an epiphany. Yes,
Okay.
That's right. But they call it a cognition in Scientology. And the clear cognition is a epiphany or a realization that you have in auditing that you are no longer creating or have to create or mock up, as the word they use in Scientology. You're no longer mocking up or creating your own reactive mind, right? You're the one who's putting it there, and then you realize, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. It's gone. Ding. There you go. $75,000
All right, so
saved.
now that you put it like that, I can see where it would cost a lot of money, because you'd actually have to substantiate the fact that you've gone down the path far enough to be able to do such a thing.
You got it.
Demonstratively. Okay. Hey, thanks for your patience, Chris, and thank you, Melissa, and y'all have a great night.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Oh, right. Great call. Yeah. Yeah, so if you read it differently, then you can take it in. If it's told to you, it's a bit harder. Glad you're out there for times. Must be challenging. Thanks, Christine. Yeah, it's... I can tell you without question, absolutely, no question whatsoever, that she has helped me in extremely important ways in these years that we have known each other and been together in my recovery. She has been there for me when no one else was, and very significant ways. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, reevaluating a fixed idea. That's right. Okay, good. Melissa's Chris's auditor. She's better than that. Okay. This is not product placement. Oh my God. Okay, I think we're going to have to move toward wrapping up. So this kind of went by. Wow, it's kind of interesting. However, we have to check in with Seven.
Yeah.
Uno más.
Oh, he opened his eyes.
Ah, there he is again. Yep. But he's still chilling, man.
He's just a chillaxer.
Well, he kind of is.
Except for when he's going after his toy.
Well, it's so funny. I wish I could get video of that.
Yeah, it's so hard to capture him doing that because as soon as you get the camera on, he's just like, oh, I'm not going to do it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You have to kind of have it on all the time in order to catch that one moment where he will, let me kind of show you. He will from a sitting position, he'll go into this stalker position, the stance, and he's looking at his little lamb chop doll or his little rabbit doll. He's got these little stuffed toys, and he just pounces, like he leaps. It's a jump, and he pounces on it. That's the word. That's what he does, you know? And he goes high.
Yeah, he can jump pretty good.
Like a couple feet. Like, it's impressive. It's not just a couple inches off the ground. He leaps on it. It's hilarious. It's so funny. Anyway, our little bundle of joy. All right, and of course, we have the critical thinking cards. Hey, by the way, guys, Mel and I recorded a podcast this week, and it'll go up tomorrow. And it's a little bit about relationships, not romantic relationships. It's about relationships. It's about mental health. It's about the challenges that we have encountered. We actually get pretty honest, actually, about some stuff that we've run into and difficulties we've had with it, and just talk generally about the subject. I hope you guys will check it out. It's not a Scientology specific podcast. It is more informed by my studies and her experiences and my experiences. But I hope you guys will check it out, because we tried to put some ideas out there of, despite the fact that therapy and counseling might be hard to get, maybe there are some things we can do for each other anyway, you know, and there are. And so we talked about some of that. And with that, we are now shuffling through the critical cards here, because we are auditor with benefits. Okay, we've already done that one, so I'm going to randomly open it to another one. Oh, we did that one too, actually, like last week. So
Yeah.
I know we will repeat these eventually, but yeah, there's a call-out card in the deck. I guess this is like their Joker. Your thinking is bad, and you should feel bad. If you've been given this card, it's because you think the things you said were so full of fallacies and dodgy logic that it would take too long to identify all of them.
There's some people I could hand that card to.
Yeah, I think it sounds legit. It's probably true. Okay, here is, however, our actual fallacy for the week. It is called false cause. False cause. Presuming that a real or perceived relationship between things means that one is the cause of the other. Pointing to a fancy chart, Roger shows how temperatures have been rising over the past few centuries, whilst at the same time the numbers of pirates have been decreasing. Thus, pirates cool the world, and global warming is a hoax.
Yep. Correlation does not equal causation.
Exactly. False cause is the name of the fallacy. Okay, so you guys can, your homework this week, should you choose to accept it, is to practice that as much as you can. It is not a Scientology deck of cards. This is my critical thinking cards. Even much more valuable than my Scientology cards, which I don't have. All right, so awesome, guys. Thanks for coming around and watching us this week. Prattle on here, and thanks for your contributions. The callers were great. Your comments were great. I know this is a passionate topic, and we really only sort of skimmed the surface of it, really. It wasn't intended to be a deep dive this week, but I was hoping we might get some interesting calls on it, and we certainly did. So thanks for all of that. Cartman constantly, yes, that's exactly right, Maverick. And we will check out that South Park episode. Yes. Watch for the podcast and for my critical Q&A this week. We did it live last week, but it will be recorded this week. We have, by the way, if there are any issues, we have a big-ass snowstorm falling, like tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, apparently biggest in 18 years. Like, it's going to be feet of snow. So hopefully, please, not thoughts and prayers, but I don't know, happy thoughts that the power doesn't go out. Okay. And on that note, if you don't see and hear from us this weekend, we'll be back next week. Okay, guys. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
All right.